My name is Samit Bisaria. I'm the head of the Constitutions program at International IDEA. International IDEA is an intergovernmental organization with a mandate to support democracy worldwide. And we have 34 member states, and Barbados was actually a founding member state of the organization back in 1995. So I'm here to meet with the Constitutional Review Commission. I'm also looking forward to meeting with several groups from civil society and talking about how they can engage in the process. And then on Friday, I'll be giving a public lecture where I'll be talking about some of the challenges that we see in constitutional reform processes around the world. What are the trends of constitution making in the 21st century? And what are some of the hopes for the future about how constitutions can tackle the problems of society now and in the future? Well, I think it's such an exciting moment for Barbados. I mean, I've been to countries all over the world in constitutional reform processes, and in many countries where people really are pushing for constitutional review processes and not getting them. So now Barbadian citizens have a chance to engage with the Constitutional Review Commission and the consultations and talk about the kind of future that they want. The Constitution may not be the first thing on everyone's mind when you wake up in the morning, but I hope that during this process people will understand how much the Constitution affects the world they live in, their society, their relationships with governments, politics, and the state, and their relationships with each other, and what it means to be a Barbados citizen. Firstly, I think a lot of people find the Constitution quite boring, to be honest. And no one wants to read the Constitution from beginning to end, and people feel like they have a lot more pressing issues. I grew up in Wales, which has a Constitutional Review Commission right now, and people would much rather be talking about their children's school, or the cost of living crisis, or watching the World Cup on television. So who wants to go to a town hall meeting and talk about the Constitution? But I hope that during this process, the Constitutional Review Commission will be able to explain how underlying all of these things, our ability to enjoy leisure time, our ability to send the kids to the right schools, our ability to get the right public services, they're all affected by the Constitution. It's not a chance that comes along every year. I know the last time that this happened in Barbados is 20 years ago or something like this. So I think it's an opportunity for people to really engage in what makes Barbados Barbados, what's the Barbados that they want to see in the future for themselves, for their children. And all of that involves talking about the Constitution. So obviously one really important and historical moment that happened in Barbados is becoming a republic, and this is something that made news all around the world in the past few years. So a lot of eyes on Barbados to see what happens now in this constitutional reform process. And I think the two things go very much together, because by becoming a republic and removing the Queen as head of state, Barbados is saying we are now fully independent, a full republic. And of course, the word republic means res publica, the power is with the people. And so now it's up to Barbadian citizens to decide, what do we want to do with that power? What does public power look like? Who can access public power? How are public resources allocated in the country? All of those things are decided in the Constitution. Well, I hope that Barbadians come out to see the lecture on Friday, because I hope that we'll be able to engage in a good discussion about what's happening around the world in constitutional reform, issues like climate change or the participation of people in politics, things that were not around when the Barbados Constitution was written, things that weren't so prevalent last time Barbados did a constitutional review. I want to highlight some of these trends, how other countries are dealing with them, and learn from the people in the audience how they see the Barbados Constitution could tackle some of these issues.